stuff.
Yeah, no problem. We're back at the right time zone.
For sure, for sure. What's about it, man?
I just wanted to say thanks first and foremost for stopping in today. I know a lot of people want to hear this. I had some questions, a lot of interesting questions too. So, it's a good moment for Wayne fans. So again, just want
For
to say
sure.
thanks. We'll get right into it.
All good.
Um,
All good. It's nice to finally meet face to face. I know we've been on the emails, in the DMs for a while now.
it's good to make something out of it here. Um,
For sure.
but for people that don't know, just as kind of a refresher for the younger generation, people that
Uh huh.
don't know Wayne's earlier career. Wayne actually started out in a group called Squad Up, and that's I'd say one of his biggest moments in the mixtape game, which started him in his mixtape journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say actually, you're probably the man that got Lil Wayne into mixtapes. So I want to say thank you for that because without your push and your drive, I don't think we'd have
Mm-hmm.
the amount of tapes we have now. Um, and just to show some people as a refresher, we have like tapes such as this and such as this over here.
For
Um,
sure.
a lot of tapes, though, like the Squad Up series. That's a
Mm-hmm.
huge topic right now for people. People are asking physical tapes. Do they ever get pressed? What's the deal behind that? A
So
lot of questions.
it all kind of started like I started working with Cash Money like right before the Cash Money Rough Rider tour. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so we did the tour. That's why I kind of got cool with everybody. And then after that, Wayne was looking for a spot to kind of like just record because up until then everything was like real structured. Like they was just in the studio with Manny, doing actual songs. But like Wayne had like a ton of raps and stuff that he was trying to get off his chest. So he kind of got the green light to just go ahead and do his thing. He found out I had a studio, so he came through and just like started recording. That's kind of like where the 10,000 bars came from. Like that was the first thing we ever did and recorded. He just brought his notebook and like just got rid of all of the raps that he still had that he had actually wrote down. And like after that, that was when he stopped writing down on paper and was doing everything in his head. You know what I'm saying? And the squad, Squad Up was like that was his crew. Like that was all of his homies and friends from like high school, junior high, neighborhood. Like that was all of his people. So it wasn't actually like a rap group at first. It was just like that was his people. You know what I'm saying? Squad Up. And then it was like, you know what? Y'all can start rapping and we can do our own little label. So Cash Money's already thing, so we the young dudes, so we gonna be Young Money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
And that's
awesome.
where it all kind of that's where it kind of all started from, you know, Yo, Gutter, T Streets. Oh, they added, Dizzy and Nut. They already had, their own crew, M Zone, and Few put them in Connect, and then they started coming through, and that's kind of like that was like the genesis of the whole Squad Up thing.
What, did that 10,000 bars? Did that ever get a disc pressing?
Um, I I feel like it had to be on CD. Like honestly, like there was no like real like disc pressing process in all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like they would come to the studio, we would record stuff. I would like burn a CD from the studio, and then they would go give it to the little chicks that had the burners and the laptops and stuff. And it was just all burnt CDs. They would leak them out in the streets, and then they just proliferated like everywhere. But like there was no like official release for like, oh, like this is like, Squad 2 with the cover and all that. Because I know you sent me the DM asking like, like these like the official covers. Like we didn't have any covers. You know what I'm saying? Like none of it was like an official release. I was trying to get them to do some official releases because I had like some mixtape connects. I'm like, yo, like we can get some bags for these, these discs, getting some distribution. But all of it was just, straight out the studio into the laptop, burnt up, and then they was hitting the streets.
And that's huge because I know a lot of people, including me, were on eBay and other sites looking for those discs. So it's kind of nice to know, like, kind of the background behind that. To know there's not really an official pressing out there for the
Mm-hmm.
collectors. But just to move along here, not to take too much of your time, I do have
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of questions here, and
For
then of
sure.
course, if anyone in the comments has questions, we'll take some of those. Um, First question I got for you here is a squad up. It's a squad question here. Other than the rumored SQ versions of Hot in Here and Scary Movies, are there
Hmm.
any other differences to the original squad tapes that were handed out at the shows versus the collector's edition that's online?
So honestly, like I don't know what's on the collector's edition. Um, a lot of stuff kind of got like mixed and remixed, you know what I'm saying? Especially with LimeWire, in the 2010s, in the early 2000s, like, folks were just uploading stuff and then, their own kind of, like, I would see some discs online. I'm like, that wasn't on, like Squad 4, like, that was from something else. And stuff kind of just got put together where it wasn't like an original, like, track listing for it. Cause I think, like, Squad 3 might only had like 5 or 6 songs on it, and then Squad 4 was like the double disc. You know what I'm saying? Like we had like a ton of stuff. And I think that Hot in Here, I feel like that was Squad 6 that the Hot in Here was on, or Squad 6 remix. Um, you know, this is like 20 plus years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We talking like 2001, 2002, 2003. I think 2004 was in everything kind of like split up. Um, but like even like in my like iTunes catalog where I have all of the squad stuff, like it's not really in the specific order. You know what I'm saying? Like my original hard drive that had like the squad discs and everything on it as we were doing it, got reformatted by a friend of mine that I was very upset about. So like I even had to end up pulling a lot of stuff from offline because like I don't have like the original burnt CDs. You know what I'm saying? Because like a matter of fact, I don't think I ever had an original burnt CD because like I would burn them a CD and just give it to Wayne, and then the rest of the stuff was just in my computer.
And that's crazy how how it ended up. Everything's just online over the years, and it's
Yeah.
crazy to just see things pop up. Kind of like I believe the record Holler. I actually messaged you about at one point. I think you said it was two verses from that era mixed into one song.
Yeah. So I found like the original version of that record.
Hmm. Oh, excellent.
Um yeah, so I don't know like, if you wanted me to play it for everybody, but like the original one that we recorded, I got in here. So I mean I could play, but yeah, it was definitely like that was a whole different beat. Like I don't even know how Evil Empire got like the acapella for it.
That's
Um, I know I had talked to them, before like they kind of like ended up falling out because like Evil Empire was trying to get anything Wayne, and they was just making their compilations. And I know I did send them a few joints, but I don't know if I send them. I'm not sure if I sent them that acapella. Like it's completely possible, but that wasn't the original record.
if you want, we'll do some questions, and if you want to end the live with this with the the song, that'd be
Yeah,
pretty
we
huge.
could play that, and we could play the the Concrete Streets too, because I know we ended up getting a cease and desist
Yeah, yeah.
from Universal, whoever for that. But to actually like play like the whole song so
Mhm.
people could hear that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I know that was causing that went viral too. A month
Hmm.
or two ago. So I know that was causing a lot of buzz. Um, let's see here. Next question. Kind of an interesting one, but have you ever tried rapping over your own beats?
Um, way back in the '90s, my crew like Psycho Ward, we made a lot of songs. I had dropped some verses. I think the only verse I dropped was on the Champions with the
Mhm.
squad. I did like the first verse on that. But you know, I there's only so much time in a day to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
between, DJing, producing, engineering and all the other stuff,
Mhm.
I let the folks that rap do the rapping.
Yeah. um, other question here is, what is your best memorable moment you've had in the studio with Wayne or just the group it's themselves recorded?
um, I mean, I got a lot of, impactful Wayne memories. I think one of my biggest Wayne memories isn't even in the studio. Like when we was on the Cash Money Rough Rider tour, like on one of the legs, I think it was like the West Coast leg of the tour, like Wayne had got sick and
Hmm.
missed like 2 or 3 shows. And he got well, but like it was still out there, like, oh, we don't know if Wayne is gonna be at the show or make it to this concert.
Hmm.
So, you know, Baby was kind of like, yeah, Wayne not here tonight. He couldn't make it. He's sick. So we're gonna do this one for Youngin. And then, it was for Block is Hot. So they start
Mhm.
playing Block is Hot and that boom, boom, boom. And Wayne come running out the back and like the whole place like just erupted. And like it was that moment I was like, yeah, like Wayne is really about to take it to the stratosphere. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that wave of energy. Like everybody's excitement to see him was
Mhm.
just like bananas, you
Yeah, and
know.
that's crazy. And I think he actually talked about that recently. I think he was on a podcast. He actually mentioned that exact moment, which was crazy.
Hmm.
See on
Yeah,
TV.
it was wild. You know what I'm saying? Like just to be there and just hear like that, like everybody at the same time just erupt. Um, and then like in the studio, like Wayne was just always like a dog in the studio. Like, he came in and knew what he wanted to do,
Mhm.
wasn't bullshit. And it was just like, we're gonna get to work, we're gonna knock all of this out. It was always professional. Like all of the stories of him being a workaholic is
Mhm.
true, you
Yep,
know.
I believe it. Yep. Um, Another question for you here. Any updates on Greatest DJ in the World Volume 2? We have some people asking about that. If you ever plan on dropping another volume.
I definitely do. Again, like it's so much stuff that's going on. You know what I'm saying? From
Mhm.
the DJing studio, like, I have other artists that I manage as well.
Mhm.
I got kids, what I'm saying? So it's like I really do want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people been talking about like asking for Louisiana too. And the discussion has, been had in the past. It's just finding the time, to get the tracks together, figure out what it's gonna be, and actually doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I'm busy, but like, like Wayne again, like Wayne is on Mars. You know what I'm saying? Like he's on a whole different thing. So I'm not against it. It could happen. I don't know when. I'm not making any promises for Louisiana too. You know what I'm saying? Greatest DJ in the world has a much better chance of happening. I just
Mhm.
gotta, find time to do it in between, all the, Flag Boy gigs and 504 Icy Girl and Poppy H stuff that's
Yep.
going on. So yeah.
Gotcha. Speaking about Greatest DJ in the World, how did you end up working with Wayne to get the track Pour Up? Because a lot of people actually consider that like a really good track from him. It's a nice record. And it's nice to hear it actually end up on a
Mhm.
project. So people were kind of wondering, how did that come about?
Wayne is one of the coolest dudes ever. You know what I'm saying? And I hit him up. I'm like, Wayne, I'm doing a mixtape. I need a record, and he sent me that like the next day. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
it's just that easy. Like Wayne just got records on tap. I did have to call him back. I'm like, yo, I need y'all to take the auto tune off of my drop because he did like, I think he was like the greatest DJ in the world, but it was auto tuned so hard it just sounded weird. So I'm like, yo, like if they could just send me that by itself,
Mhm.
just for continuity purposes. But yeah, like, like Wayne always, always look out, always answer the phone. Like every time I see him, like it's love. Like for his 40th birthday party, I DJ for his party out in
Mhm.
LA. And I don't think Mac told him I was coming and I was spinning, and he
Mhm.
saw me and like gave me like the biggest hug. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always love.
Yeah, and it's awesome to still see you working with Wayne now, like even in 2025, 2026. Like for example, the Fix Six blend tape that we got from you and
Hmm.
Manny, great music. So it's good to still see you guys active working with Wayne because we're always looking for new music, especially with the people that started with him and know his sound. It's good to
Hmm.
see new records come out.
I
Um,
mean, we always down to do cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like, I see Manny all the time. We talk, and when he started working on, like, he hit me up, was like, like Raj, I need you for this. So,
yeah,
we put it together, and it came out real, real dope.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Another question for you. When you were in the studio during the squad up sessions, what
Hmm.
were the interactions between Wayne and specifically Gutta? I have, looks like this specific person here is a Gutta Gutta fan, so they were kind of curious, like, how did the interactions go with Wayne and Gutta?
Um, I mean, it was always cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there was I don't ever have like any bad memories of like being in the studio. Um, like Gutter was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had the voice for it. Like his just his personality wise just had like the gravitas for all the stuff that he used to be saying. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I kind of wish like Monster Feet would have got like a for real like push, because I felt like that record could have really
Yeah.
went early on. Like I still remember that sitting, when he came in, sat on the couch and
Hmm.
had the verses for it, and I had sampled the little part of his line from one of the other earlier Squad songs where he was like, "Gotta be in some wide on some Monster Feet," and we just made like a dope record. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought Gutter always could have went.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I have a question, actually, a personal question that I thought of for you. Never
Hmm.
knew the answer to this, but who is on Louisiana, the record "Secret Weapon"? Who is
Hmm.
Lauren? Because I feel like that's the only time we've ever heard of Lauren. So I was kind of curious what's up with her.
I do not even know. So like the whole Louisiana thing, like how that came together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Wayne was working on the mixtape and he was trying to figure out who to get to like host it.
Mm-hmm.
And Fuke, you know what I'm saying? Fuke is like the same person that hooked Wayne up with, Nut the Kid and Dizzy. He was like, man, why you don't get Raj to do it? And Wayne was like, you know what, you right. Like we need to get Raj to, do this one. And they sent me all the tracks for it. Like all the stuff was like already done for that one. He already had, the songs, and they sent them to me. And I did my thing, mixed them up, put the scratches and all that, the drops, put my voice on it, sent it back, and that was all she wrote on that one.
Wow. I think what I'll do is I got just maybe one or two more questions, and then if you want, we'll
Mhm.
start taking the comments in
Yeah,
here, and then we'll go
it's
from
all
there.
good. I got
Um,
some time.
Perfect, perfect. And I appreciate that. I have one question here asking, what is one song or session that you remember the most, or just a favorite squad song that comes to mind when you think of that era?
Oh, I think Champions, you know what I'm saying? Like when we did that, because like I had to redo the whole beat for Champions.
Hmm.
Because like there wasn't an instrumental for it, like it wasn't never a single for that song. So like we didn't have a way to get the instrumental for it. You know what I'm saying? That was something like also too, like with the Squad Up mixtapes. I used to be on radio, as well as like DJing in the clubs and stuff. So like at that time, the record labels used to send out like the 12-inch vinyl for like
Hmm.
the songs that were like the next singles for everybody. And they would have like the radio version, dirty version, the instrumental, and the acapella. So we would get like the instrumentals and stuff before like a couple of weeks before they even hit on radio. So
Hmm.
like Wayne would come by and be like, yo, what you got new? And I would play him some stuff. And he'd be like, okay, we doing that, we doing this, we doing that one. And sometimes the squad versions would hit the streets before the real versions would hit. So nobody even knew what the original song was.
Hmm.
Their first impression of it was the squad beat. So like in the champion situation, um, like that was something we didn't have the instrumental for. So I had to remake the whole beat. And in the conversation, I was like, well shit, like Kanye rapping on, he produced it. He got the first verse on the original record. Let me, do the first verse on this. And um I think like Mario was supposed to be on the record too, but for whatever reason, like that verse, the verse ain't work out. So like Wayne ended up, that's why Wayne ended up coming back behind me rapping on it. Um, but now it was just dope. Like that was the one like everybody got on there and like really did their thing.
That's awesome. And I guess another interesting question is, if you were in the studio today, and let's say you had Wayne in
Hmm.
the studio, who would you choose? Like top three artists, who would you want to work with to create a project? Who do you think you'd be calling?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry, my
If
my,
you
my
were,
ear was
yeah,
cut.
yeah, no problem. If you're like, let's say you're in the studio with Wayne and you had to call three other artists up to create a project, do you have a certain
Hmm.
go-to you would call in like that kind of scenario?
If it was three other artists, I would say, get Juvie, BG, and Turk
Yeah.
on the line, and like let's get like a for real, like hot boy song, just get a little of that chemistry back. You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel.
Like I know, some of them is at odds and stuff, but just for old time's sakes,
Mhm.
like just one more time for the road before we out of here.
Yeah.
Um, you know. just do it for the legacy and then call it a day. You know,
I
like a
agree.
for real, like a real Hot Boys record, not like oh we about to send verses and all that. Like
Like,
you
yep,
know, let's get
everybody.
Manny in there. You know what I'm saying? You know, let's get some direction and make it a go.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to see that. So hopefully, with enough, enough push, we'll see it happen. Um, and then I think,
Hopefully, you know.
yeah, and then I think here my final question, and then we'll go over to the live questions if we have anyone. Is
Mhm.
what happened at the end of the squad era? Was it just Wayne transitioning into Carter, the Carter, and kind of evolving, or what happened with Squad Up and the mixtapes?
Um, you know, it's music, it's friendship, and it's business. And sometimes those things get tangled in ways that everybody don't agree with.
Hmm.
And, you know, Squad just felt like, you know, most of the members of Squad Up felt like, you know, they were overdue for some shine and they needed a shot. And, you know, they just went for it. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? You know, I kind of just like stepped back and washed my hands of the situation. I was like, you know, y'all go do y'all. You know, I'm gonna be over here. And Dizzy was like, you know what, Raj, I'm coming over there with you. And me and Dizzy started working on his stuff.
Hmm.
Um, you know, and everybody's records is out in the public space. So
And it's cool to speaking of Dizzy, it's kind of cool to hear that info. His mixtape that you hosted, Thousand Miles to New Orleans.
mhm.
Um,
Downtown.
Thousand downtown. I'm sorry, yeah, Thousand Miles
Yeah.
downtown. It's crazy to hear that Wayne actually pretty much rapped on majority of those beats before. So it's kind of crazy
Hmm.
to hear that there's somewhere, I don't know if you have it still, but Wayne went over all of those beats, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
so a lot of those songs, well, I won't say a lot, but you know, like Put Your Hands High, I'm a Problem. What else was there? A couple other joints. Wheezy's Dizzy's Back was originally Wheezy's Back, and I actually took that a cappella for the mix before the six and
Hmm.
used that on there. There's actually like another verse. I think I only put two verses on. There's a third. But anyway, um, you know, it's the songs that was supposed to be on the Carter one, and you know the squad broke up, and Wayne was talking so much squad shit on there. There wasn't, you know, the squad broke up, like he's not gonna be yelling squad over all of these songs, so a lot of them got cut.
Yeah,
Um, so I didn't want the beats to go to waste. So I'm like Dizzy, like we just, you know, some of these beats that are the better, you know, the best beats. Like let's take these and you know make some new songs out of them. You know,
that's
so there's, you know, there's some Wayne versions of "I'm a Problem" and the "Put Your Hands High." Um, yeah, and
final
that's how
question.
that happened.
And that's cool. But final question I got here written down. This one's from DJ Folk. He
Hmm.
asks. He says he has a lot of work. He says with Jeezy and a lot of records in the archive. He just wanted to know if do you have an archive of Squad Up, and how does that work in your life?
So like most of the stuff like was put out. Like there wasn't a lot of stuff, you know, like Wayne wasn't big on holding stuff back.
Yeah.
Um, you know, between like the Carter files and some of the other stuff that, you know, got put out there, I think I have, you know, maybe like a handful of tracks that nobody has ever heard before or different versions of stuff. You know, I would have to go back and really go through everything. But, you know, like a lot of that stuff, like Wayne wasn't holding it. Like we would record it, and that night he'd be like, yo, burn all of that for me on a CD, and it was out in the streets like the next day.
That's awesome. I think
Yeah.
what we'll do now is just for anyone watching, it's kind of also a behind the scenes in a way because I plan on chopping this up and we'll make clips out of it. So
Hmm.
if anyone in the comments though has any questions, if we'll go for them now. If anyone wants to ask Raj anything here while you have him, it's definitely the time to ask him your questions. So if anyone has anything, let's see some questions drop in.
Thoughts on the Carter Six? Um, I actually really liked the Elephant song that everybody seemed to like hate. I thought the beat was cool. Um, you know, I don't know why everybody has so much flame for that record, but I thought it was dope. Has any of my songs ever leaked or got hacked? Somebody did try to hack me and send me some emails to get some records that was in the vault. Um, but I'm trying to think. I don't think I had anything like because most of my stuff like is on my computer. You know what I'm saying? So like I didn't have a lot of folks with access to what I had. Like even when we would go to like Atlanta and go to Patchwork, like I would bring the drive with me. We would record and then we would take the drive. So we weren't leaving stuff at studios. And this was before you know really like emailing songs all over the internet. Though you could, we always had the drive when we traveled.
It was
See, I was not there for Wayne's World 7. Let me see.
Anyone else have any questions here for Raj? I know there's
I'm looking
definitely a
through
lot of
some of
good
these.
questions to ask.
My personal favorite Wayne album would probably be Carter 3.
Yeah.
My favorite Wayne song. What's my favorite Wayne song? Probably I Feel Like Dying.
Hmm.
Like, that just the sample on there and the way Wayne was rapping, like that's one of them songs where, like I would just listen to that just to be listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Q
heard
said
that
he
they were
hate the
trying to
other
clear
song.
that record a few years back.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs getting clear, like it's always an issue. Like even like the When I Land record
Hmm.
was supposed to make Carter 1, but um what you call it wanted like $25,000 to clear the sample. It's a Smokey Robinson sample,
Hmm.
and he wanted like 25 grand, and David was like, "Man, I'm not paying that shit." So, uh, it ended up on the drought.
Hmm.
But yeah, like that was I feel like that was one of my, if not, that was like one of my best Wayne records that
Oh,
I
that's a
did when
personal
I
favorite.
land.
Um,
Yeah.
quick side question is, did the droughts ever end up on disc, or is that kind of the same situation? Same with
Same
yeah,
situation. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like I don't think it's, until, Wayne started doing like the dedications and all that stuff with like, drama and Khaled and all of that, where there was like an actual machine
Hmm.
behind, like we actually gonna distribute this mixtape. You know what I'm saying? And like drama helped me out, like helped me out with getting like some distribution for like Louisiana and for like the Carter Files.
Hmm.
They connected me with their people. Because by that point, mixtapes were like really like a big thing.
Yeah.
When we first started doing it, we were just doing it because like Wayne wanted to rap and put stuff out
Hmm.
that weren't like for real songs. And nobody was really, well, I won't say nobody. I don't think at the time Baby and them was really expecting for it to take off the way that it did. And again, like uh I was really championing like, hey, I can get some distribution for these mixtapes,
Hmm.
but nobody at the like I don't think, even at the time, I don't think Wayne really understood what that meant.
Hmm.
Because he was just, in artist guide mode, just going off and killing everything.
Yep.
So actually making it like an official, unofficial release, kind of went over, a lot of folks' heads at the time. But eventually, uh, they got with the program, and like Wayne's mixtape catalog is really kind of like unmatched.
It is, yeah, it is, and it's kind of cool because I know a lot of people compare like the Squad to kind of like the Dipset movement that was going on
Hmm.
in New York. So it's kind of cool to see how even like the South had their own version of I don't want to say Dipset, but like their own mixtape scene, and
Hmm.
it's just the Southern sound behind it.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, the South, like mixtapes was a thing. Like, even if you start talking about like, like Houston, you know what I'm saying, and DJ Screw and all of the mixtapes that he used to, like, I remember, being in college and everybody was trying to get their hands on like the new Screw tape. you
Hmm.
know. So, and that was when mixtapes was really on tapes, cassette tapes. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I had put out a few mixtapes uh early on then too, before, CDs, got cheap, and it wasn't you didn't have to give an arm and a leg to get an actual CD burner at the
Hmm.
time. Um but now, like, the mixtapes, the South, just the South, as far as hip hop is concerned, just period. Like, the South has always been on anything. Like, we've always been like right there with everybody else. It's just that, we didn't always have the same outlets. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you were in New York, you were right across the street from MTV and
Yeah.
BET and everybody else. So it's like when you did something and you dropped it, the world was listening. It
Hmm.
took a long time for, artists from the South to really get access to those types of outlets. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cash Money was popping since like my freshman year in high school. Like, I remember like UNLV, who was one of Cash Money's original groups.
Hmm.
They were supposed to perform at like my high school talent show at the Explosion, and our principal was like, "Nah, like they not." Like, UNLV standing for Uptown Niggas Living Violently. Like, we're not gonna have that at
Hmm.
our high school. So that got turned down. But like, you know, the South has been right there with everybody else.
Hmm. Definitely, definitely.
I
Let's
see
see
somebody asked, when
here.
was Wayne first mixtape made? That would have been the 10,000 bars, and that was like 2000, late 2000, I think, when we did that. What's one instrumental all time you wish you could hear Wayne on? Uh, I don't know. I feel like Wayne has killed like everything.
He's been on like
You
everything.
know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know. I didn't think about that. Like, what has Wayne not been on? Like, that's a
It's like
bananas question.
classical music, instrumental or something.
I don't know. I'm gonna think about that. I'm when you clip these, I'm gonna put a comment and I'm gonna find an answer for that.
Perfect.
My favorite personal DJ Jazzy Jeff off rip, Mount Olympus.
Let's see. We got any more questions for Raj, guys?
I think that might have been the last one. My
Might be the
favorite
last
personal
one.
DJ.
But I know
Hard answer.
once we post the clips, I know it'll get the reach and everyone will start talking in the comments.
Ooh, yeah, Lil Wayne Blackburner was a great early Wayne record. For sure. Well, you want me to play this the whole Concrete Streets so folks could hear it?
Yeah, whatever you're willing to play, I'd love to hear it. I'm sure
Let me
everybody else too would love that.
find. All right. I'm gonna take my AirPods out because I think it might get canceled off of background noise.
Hmm. I think we lost you on the audio there. Hey Raj, I think audio's on mute. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like we can't. We're having some audio problems, it looks like, right now. Yeah, if you wanna pop out, Raj, and come back in, I'll invite you again. Raj should be back in just a minute, guys. He's gonna play some exclusives for us. Let's see here.
RAJ SMOOVE. Ooh, boy. RAJ SMOOVE, the greatest DJ in the world.
Let's see. Inviting Raj again. Oh, let me try that again. He's about to play some exclusives.
RAJ SMOOVE. Ooh, boy. RAJ SMOOVE, the greatest DJ in the world. RAJ SMOOVE. Ooh, boy. RAJ SMOOVE, the greatest DJ in the world.
I'll try that again. For anyone joining now, we're just waiting for Raj. He's going to play some exclusives here in a minute. He's having some audio problems, so he is leaving and coming back. So give Raj a minute. He will be right back. He's going to play you some exclusives you've never heard before. So let us see here. I'm going to end the live, and we're going to go back on live and get Raj in here. Oh, there we go. Let's see if that did it. Just waiting on Raj to get in. We're having some technical difficulties, but he will be right back. And he's going to be playing some exclusives. Something you've never heard before.
RAJ SMOOVE. Ooh, boy.